Hello, how are you? I am Joel, and I was gonna make a video about ranked, but Aaron Keller recently tweeted that he was going to make a blog post about his thoughts on ranked, based on, I'm assuming, the Eskay video that was released about a week ago. I will link that video in the description below because it's a very good video and I recommend you all to watch it. But today, instead of doing the ranked video, I'm going to make a video on what makes a good hero in Overwatch, because there's a lot of things that could make a good hero. It's just that the balance team doesn't always land it in the right spot. And so I will be talking about that right now because I like talking about hero design. So, what is a hero? What should a hero in Overwatch be? The easy answer is that it should be accessible, it should be fun, but it should also have a high skill ceiling in order to prolong the longevity of the game. So what do I mean by that? If you look at the character Tracer, she's fun, she's sort of accessible, but she has a really high skill ceiling that prolongs how long it takes for a player to learn her. So Illari, the newly released hero in Overwatch, is a really good example of this because she's accessible, she's fun, and she has a high skill ceiling. She has all the three components that makes a well-designed hero. There are two fundamentally different design styles for the hero. One, there's a specialist hero, which excels at one thing and has flaws in other compartments. And there's the everything hero, which is basically like a jack of all trades and doesn't really excel at one thing or another. In terms of the specialist heroes, we have three examples. We have Zarya, Lucio, and Tracer. Zarya is specialized to use her bubbles to provide protection for her teammates and herself, while also charging herself up. That's basically her main core mechanic. Lucio, his main feature is his speed boost, and everything he does is centered around his speed boost. Tracer is an amazing flanker and is basically only used to flank. Everything heroes like Brig, Baptiste, Orisa, they excel at multiple things because their kits are designed to do multiple things. Bridget, Brig is pretty good at everything. Basically, she has a whip shot which knocks people back, she has a shield which gives herself sustain, she has an AoE healing, she has a projected healing, she has armor, she has an ult that provides overhealth, she has a shield that stuns in ultimate, she has mobility in her bash, and yeah, she's pretty good. Baptiste also is like an everything hero because he has a lamp which provides immortality, he has exo boots which provides him mobility, he has healing grenades, of course, he has the regenerative burst which provides AoE healing, and then he has the amplification matrix which also amplifies his healing but also the damage of himself and others around him. So he has a lot of capabilities to do things, even though he's mainly used in Brawl. Orisa is an everything hero because she has a javelin which cancels stuff and pushes people away. She has a spinny spin, I forgot what it's called, javelin spin, I think that's the name of it. She has a javelin spin which destroys stuff like Illari's ultimates, and she has really high sustain. Extremely high sustain, where you just have to ignore her if you're the enemy and you have to just kill the people around her instead of her. So what does this mean? Like, why am I talking about these two different heroes? A hero that has a kit designed to propel them into doing one thing, and a kit that is designed to do a lot of things at a really good rate. Well, my main opinion on this might be divisive, but might not be, depending on your opinion, of course. My opinion is that specialist heroes are pretty good. You got Zarya, really cool, you know, very simple kit, very fun, very accessible, and has a high skill ceiling. And then you have everything heroes, like Baptiste. Baptiste is good for the brawl, but he can do other things, like Brig. Brig can do a lot of things. She can fit into a lot of comps because she has such a wide amount of abilities that aren't specialized for one purpose. She has really high sustain and her abilities can do a lot of stuff depending on the context. You might argue that's a good thing. Maybe it is if it's not as excessive as Brig is, but when you get to that point where you have a Brig character, it can get quite problematic in terms of the hero design and how it fits into map metas. Now, outliers do exist, like Reaper is a specialist. He specializes in destroying the tank via high damage, but Reaper is really one-dimensional, like extremely one-dimensional. Everything he does is just to do that one thing, and that is it. He has no ability to do anything else And so this one playstyle is the exact same playstyle for basically everyone. The other outlier that exists is Sojun, which is an everything hero. She has mobility, she has high damage potential, she has AoE damage in her orb thing, and she fits into comps pretty well. Like, she can fit into a poke, she could fit into a brawl, she could fit into a dive-ish kind of, maybe. But she's a good everything hero right now because she isn't excelling too much into one area. If you have an everything hero, your hero can't be designed too much into one favored comp. Like, for example, Soldier is an everything hero, but he doesn't excel at everything. He excels at nothing because he's a jack of all trades, and that's what a jack of all trades should do. They should be good, but not great. A specialist hero should be great in one thing, but bad in other things. That is what makes a balanced hero in Overwatch. So what do we do with heroes like Brig and Baptiste and Orisa? Well, you need to give them a flaw, right? You need to give them a flaw. With Brig, maybe you absolutely cut her AoE healing, so then her survivability makes sense. Or maybe with Bap, you get rid of his mobility, so he is forced to stay in this brawl comp. Or with Orisa, maybe you drastically reduce her mobility, so then her sustain makes more sense. I don't know. It's up to the devs to decide what they want the flaws of these characters to be, but specialist heroes prove that if you're great at something and you're bad at other things, the hero can be well made. And that's what's important for Overwatch, because this game is about how the heroes interact with each other. If you have characters, too many characters, that are great at everything, then all the other heroes will be out of the meta for like a prolonged period of time. And that won't be too good, I don't think. Especially if you're playing in ranked and one of your heroes are one of these specialist heroes like Doomfist and has no ability to catch up with the other characters because his skill curve is too high. And that fits into my next argument, which is basically, while a hero can be accessible and fun, they should have a fair skill curve. Doomfist does not have a fair skill curve. Because if you look at the chart, he starts at rock bottom and then he spikes all the way up and then he stays at the top for everything else. If you pick up Doomfist and you're a new player, good luck. You can't live. You cannot. Every game you will die first, and that is not fun for the new player, and it's not fun for the players that are playing with the new player. So what do we need? We need heroes like Illari. Illari is a really good hero. I appreciate the devs for making a good hero because Illari has a really fair skill curve, at least from the looks of things. Obviously, we haven't uncovered her full potential yet, but her skill curve looks really fair, and she's a specialist hero. So what is the lesson? What do we learn? What have we learned? What am I even talking about? Am I just talking about nothing? Am I talking about absolutely nothing? Am I going bonkers? Am I losing my marbles? Yes, but also, the main takeaway of this video is that the devs need to consider specialist heroes being a good thing, because a hero is meant to have a flaw. Like Zen has a flaw. They gave him a kick for no reason because they got rid of his flaw. But there are meant to be specialist heroes that have flaws. If every hero is an everything hero, then the game will not be fun, and the game will be very unfun, actually. Like, real quick, let me talk about Zen. Okay, let me talk about Zen. Like, I brought up Zen, it just came in my head, but Zen Yatta. Okay, Zen Yatta, the man himself, the Omnic himself. Zen Yatta in Overwatch 1 is a glass cannon. He has high damage. He annoys the tanks, but if the tank goes up to him or dives him or runs to him with a brawl, he dies because he's a glass cannon. It's sort of true in Overwatch 2, but they gave him a kick, so you can't 1v1 the Zen properly anymore. You need to be melee distance away from the Zen, so then he doesn't kick you. Now, sure, but like, he's meant to be a glass cannon. You gave him a kick, so now his survivability is higher. Maybe he doesn't need that Brigitte anymore, but you're getting rid of his flaw if you go too far. Okay, all I'm saying is that don't push Zen to the survivability camp too much, because then he will have no flaws and he'll become an everything character, but that's it. I don't know if I actually got my point across because this is like kind of a rant. I didn't have a proper layout for this video, but look, devs, specialist heroes, I love them. You know, everything heroes, if you give a hero no flaw whatsoever, give him too much survivability, no good. Hopefully I got my point across. If I didn't, please tell me in the comments, but yeah. There are two fundamental design styles for each Overwatch hero. They can be formatted into specialist and everything heroes. Specialist heroes, arguably in my opinion, are healthier for the game, since a character who is great at something must also have flaws. An everything hero is good at everything, but to an extreme, when it gets really bad, they are great at everything, and that will destroy a meta. To fit a hero better into a game, give him flaws. You know, flaws are pretty good. I like flaws. So if you want diverse metas that evolve based on the map rather than the everythingness of the hero, give a character a flaw. Even though there are exceptions to this rule, with Reaper being a really one-dimensional specialist hero and Sojourn being a pretty decent everything hero, this thought process still applies, and hopefully the future heroes in Overwatch will follow the trend of Illari, even though I assume it will not, because this was the season they put all their bucks into, and hopefully I'm wrong in saying that the polish of the game will decrease. But that's it. Thank you very much for coming. Hope you had a good day, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.